Gomorra is an Italian crime TV series created by the investigative journalist Roberto Saviano. The show is based on Saviano's book and premiered on Sky Atlantic in Italy on the 6th of May 2014. The series ran for 5 seasons with a total of 58 episodes until December 2021. The 2008 film of the same name, which won the Grand Prix at the 61st Cannes Film Festival, is also based on Saviano's book, but unrelated to the TV series. Roberto Saviano explains the meaning of Gomorra. Gomorra is not a mere synonym with Camorra. Gomorra is an economic system wherein everything is missing, where there are no investments, no opportunities, no education, no jobs, no resources, no businesses. When infrastructure struggles against a constant lack of funds and resources, that is Gomorra. To be Gomorra is not just about toting weapons, threats and extortion, drug dealing, killing, dumping garbage and money laundering. The title of the book, movie and TV show take their titles from the sinful and destroyed city Gomorra in the Old Testament, and this also rhymes with Camorra. However, according to author Saviano, Camorra is only used by narcotic police, judges and journalists. It's a scholarly term that makes Camorristi smile. The name clan members use is the system. They call each region a different system, like Secondigliano system. The locals do not prefer to use Camorra, and they are not happy with its connotations with Gomorra. On the walls of Levele tower blocks, there were graffitis written, "Non siamo Gomorra," which means, "We are not Gomorra." Certainly, the popularity of the book and the show didn't help the image of suburban neighborhoods of Naples. But it was what Saviano wanted since the beginning, to show the facts and never pretend or dramatize. Saviano wasn't a typical reporter either. He was on the field all the time, rushing to the crime scenes with his Vespa even before the arrival of Carabinieri. A native of Casal di Principe, he was no stranger to Mafia. He spent long time around the Europe's largest open-air drug market in Scampi and Secondigliano and observed the people, place, drug business and violence on the spot. The show that was mostly filmed in the Scampia neighborhood of Naples tells the story of a Camorra member, Ciro Di Marzio, and the head of Camorra clan, Pietro Savastano. The TV series depicts the bloody civil war among Camorra clans through the eyes of Ciro.
È il racconto dell'ascesa e della disfatta di questa famiglia, che è appunto il clan dei Savastano.
The other key characters of the Savastano family are the Don Pietro's wife Immacolata and his son Gennaro. Don Pietro starts to trust Ciro more after he completes the missions without hesitation and considers him as a mentor for his son Gennaro. When Don Pietro is arrested, the Savastano clan encounters many challenges. In addition to rival clan leader Salvatore Conte's attacks, the Savastano clan's old and young members begin a power struggle. Gomorra is Sky's one of the most watched TV series and one of the most realistic crime series of all time. Many critics rightly compare Gomorra to The Sopranos in terms of realism, but I must say that Gomorra is much darker and crueler version of The Sopranos. There is less humor and less mercy in Gomorra. Because of a strict code in Italian-American Mafia, women and children aren't harmed by the Mafia. But Italian Mafia is different than the Italian-American Mafia. They often punish the close family members of the enemies, no matter what's their gender or age. Some people may remember a scene in Breaking Bad that a child is being killed during a train robbery. These scenes are much more common in Gomorra. Those who watch The Sopranos will remember when Tony Soprano and his crew go on a business trip to Naples. Tony Soprano wants to discuss the details of the luxury car hijacking business with the Camorra boss Uncle Z, but he sees that his uncle's cognitive skills deteriorated due to aging and illnesses. So he has to negotiate the business with the wife of his distant cousin, Annalisa. Tony's cousin is the acting Camorra boss, but he serves a life sentence. We also see the introduction of Furio Giunta in Naples episode, who plays a brutal Camorra bodyguard. Gomorra is based on actual events, which were narrated by the Italian journalist Roberto Saviano. His book of the same name sold over 1 million copies in Italy and sold more than 10 million copies worldwide. The show's authenticity isn't just coming from the setting and the factual events. The dialogues are in Neapolitan dialect. In a 2014 interview with The Telegraph, Saviano underlines the authenticity of the TV series. If people have doubts, then that's great. I want to provoke doubt and I want to provoke questions, because all of the events you see in the series are independently verifiable. Everything I do is based on fact. But the Camorra clans didn't like the exposé of Neapolitan criminal network. Mafia bosses have decided that the author had to pay the price. Since 2006, Roberto Saviano got several serious death threats from the Casalesi clan of Camorra and started to live in hiding and under 24-hour police protection. Mafia bosses have warned Saviano that if he kept quiet, his life would be spared. But Saviano hasn't given in to Mafia's demands and kept his anti-Mafia stance. Although his courage costed him his freedom, it served the public by exposing Camorra's secret business methods. He has not spent more than a few nights in the same place and avoided public places and transportation. He has even considered to leave Italy permanently, lived in other cities like his ancestors' city Seville, and walked around public places by putting on wig and sunglasses. In Gomorra, there isn't any character that the audience can identify with. All the characters have big moral defects. Although the show was criticized for showing explicit violence, corroding young kids' brains and humanizing gangsters, it never glamorizes the criminals. We see Camorra members constantly living under threat of death and losing their closed ones. The show neither humanizes nor glamorizes the Camorra clans. It portrays the life of Neapolitan drug clans in their natural settings in a realistic way. The series is primarily shot on location in the strongholds of Camorra and some of the most dangerous neighborhoods of Naples, such as Scampia and Secondigliano. The main setting of the Gomorra is Le Vele di Scampia tower blocks on the outskirts of Naples. Le Vele di Scampia means the sails of Scampia. Built between 1965 and 1980 by the architect Francesco Di Salvo, Le Vele blocks were designed to replace the slums of Naples. 7 apartment blocks were built. 3 were demolished between 1998 and 2003. The idea was to remake housing complexes in the outskirts of Naples that would remind of the narrow alleyways of Naples, to strengthen community relations and create infrastructure and green spaces for the impoverished people. However, the project has never been completed. Project's fund was funneled into corrupt politicians' pockets, leaving some parts of the blocks unfinished and with no public amenities. Le Vele blocks became the headquarter, fortress, warehouse, and distribution point of the Nuova Famiglia Camorra clan, headed by the cruel boss Agnello La Monica in the 1970s and early 80s. The movie and TV series Gomorra cemented the opinion that Le Vele blocks are synonymous with Camorra. To erase the bad connotations and bloody history, the demolition of Le Vele tower blocks started in February 2020. In 1982, Camorra boss Agnello La Monica was toppled by his godson Paolo Di Lauro, who would later rule the Camorra with an iron fist in many parts of Naples. Di Lauro had 10 sons, and all of them were involved in the clan. Di Lauro joined his Camorra clan as an accountant. He imported cocaine from South and Central America, heroin from Afghanistan through Turkey and Balkans, and distributed them through his network by turning Secondigliano into the largest open-air drug market in Europe. Le Vele was the setting of a bloody clan feud that broke out in 2004 between the Camorra's Di Lauro clan and the rival faction called the Secessionists. One of the local dealers, Raffaele Amato, disputed the new rules, fled to Spain, and organized a revolt against his former bosses. In Scampia, secessionists are known as the Spaniards due to their strong presence in Spain, particularly in Costa del Sol and Barcelona. According to Maurizio Catino's book, Mafia Organizations in Camorra, the absence of higher-level bodies of coordination, the fragmentary nature of the clans, and the fluidity of alliances made it impossible for the conflicts to be negotiated and managed in a non-violent manner within the organization. The control of the Le Vele tower blocks meant the control of the local drug market. During the one-year clan war, dozens of gang members were killed. In the first season of the show, we watch the bloody Scampia feud between Di Laura clan and Spaniards. Paolo Di Lauro ruled Secondiliano and Scampia from 1982 until his capture in 2005. In the book Gomorra, Saviano describes Paolo Di Lauro as an extremely cautious and obscure. According to Vanity Fair's The Camorra Never Sleeps article, Di Lauro was a reserved man who doesn't use a phone, rarely speaks to outsiders, and seldom appears in public places, and doesn't let his crew mention his name. When Don Paolo wanted to travel, he would send 5 cars, all the same color, model, and license plate, and all were escorted. He would be in one of the cars, even his close men didn't know. Because he wanted to stay under the radar, he didn't condone random violence and crime in his districts. Even police heard his name much later in the 1990s when one of his associates cooperated and revealed secrets of the clan. He was Phantom. His first mugshot was taken in the police headquarters in central Naples in 1998 when he was accused of battery by his young child's teacher. When the teacher slapped Di Lauro's 10-year-old, Di Lauro's men gave the teacher a beating. In October 2002, prosecutors issued for the arrest of Paolo Di Lauro and his members. Di Lauro escaped from the police and hid as a fugitive in Secondiliano until his capture in 2005. When he was on the run, his oldest son, Cosimo, took over the clan. It was an unfortunate decision by Don Paolo, as his son, Cosimo, was inexperienced, violent, and pretentious, showing off with his luxury cars. An internal conflict between the clan's old and young members broke out, and a clan war with the Spaniards followed it in 2004. Many people died during the one-year clan war, which resulted in eventual arrest of Don Paolo and his son, Cosimo. The main characters of the show are based on real Camorra clan leaders. Pietro Savastano is based on Paolo Di Lauro. Actor Fortunato Cerlino is showing an excellent performance with the Don Pietro role, almost reminding of Brando's Don Vito performance.
Pietro è il capofamiglia della famiglia Savastano.
Don Pietro's henchman Ciro Di Marzio, who is portrayed by Marco de Mohr, is based on boss Paolo Di Lauro's right-hand man, Gennaro Marino, known as McKay. According to the book Gomorra, when Don Paolo was grieving for the loss of his son Domenico in a hospital, his henchman McKay came there and drank the urine of Don Paolo from the glass. In the TV show, we watch a similar scene, when Ciro Di Marzio drinks the urine of Don Pietro in a nightclub. Gennaro Jenny Savastano is based on his oldest son, Cosimo, who later seized the power and started the internal war between the young group and the older group. In the show, we often see the young gang members, which are called Paranza babies, riding through and terrorizing the neighborhoods by opening fire randomly at shops, buildings, and/or people in rival territories. Salvatore Esposito, who plays Jenny, was originally hired as a Q stand-in for other actors who were auditioning for the show. The directors were impressed with his performance and let him audition himself. Camorra's clans didn't only dominate neighborhoods of Naples, their drug network and other businesses were international. The Di Lauro clan laundered the drug money by buying real estate and various businesses in other countries like France and the Netherlands. Cosimo Di Lauro used to travel to Paris to control the business of the clan in France. In the 3rd and 4th season of the show, there are more scenes which take place in outside Naples, such as Rome, Bulgaria, and London. Marco de Mohr is a resident of Campania. He tells how he approached local people to get more clue about the characters. It hasn't been easy in territories like ours. Nevertheless, I developed a kind of special sense that helped me to determine where certain people's ideologies and loyalties lie. Rather than approaching Camorristi, I did the reverse process by approaching the people who live in the places that have been affected. This helped me to believe that the story we were telling was necessary. Gomorra is a critically acclaimed TV show which is based on Roberto Saviano's book with the same name. The series has been praised for its realism, complex character development, and its portrayal of the brutal methods of the Camorra. Although it has a dark depiction of the criminal underworld, it doesn't glamorize criminals. The locations, like iconic Lavelle tower blocks, make the scenes more authentic. If you are into crime fiction and crime shows, you should read Gomorra and watch its cinema and TV adaptations. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to my channel. See you soon.